Take a close look at this map of the Indian subcontinent as it stood right before 1975. There is a glaring gap right up here in the Himalayas. At this time, this territory was entirely outside India's borders. So what happens if an entirely foreign territory decides it wants to join the country? Does the Indian Constitution actually provide a legal way to stretch the nation's physical borders and let them in? This question trips up thousands of students taking competitive exams every year. People constantly confuse the laws for drawing new lines inside the country with the laws for absorbing completely new land from the outside. The founders anticipated this exact scenario. They engineered a highly specific mechanism to absorb external territories into the Union, known as Article 2. Article 2 uses only a few lines to establish a significant legal capability. It grants the authority to explicitly admit or establish entirely new states into the Union of India. But this authority doesn't belong to the President or the Supreme Court. It rests squarely with the legislative branch, the Indian Parliament. The Constitution includes a major stipulation here. Parliament has total freedom to dictate the exact terms and conditions of a new territory's entry, however they see fit. Because they write the entry requirements, lawmakers act as the ultimate, unchallenged gatekeepers for any physical expansion of the country. To really grasp how Article 2 operates, we need to compare it to its closest neighbor in the Constitution, Article 3. This graphic shows the key difference. Article 2 applies exclusively to land completely outside the current legal boundaries of India. Meanwhile, Article 3 deals strictly with existing states that already belong to the country. One handles the admission of new territories, while the other handles forming new states, altering boundaries, or changing the names of places inside the current borders. So if you're taking an exam, lock this mental model in. Article 2 is outside in, and Article 3 is inside out. We can see exactly how this legal theory translates to reality by looking at the absorption of Sikkim. Prior to 1975, Sikkim was not an Indian state. It was a completely separate, independent kingdom governed by its own monarchy. When the time came to integrate, lawmakers triggered Article 2 by passing the 36th Constitutional Amendment Act. Through that single piece of legislation, Sikkim was officially admitted and established as the 22nd state of the Indian Union. The absorption of Sikkim provides the physical proof of Article 2 in action, demonstrating how a brief legal provision can permanently redraw a nation's sovereign map. Let's quickly consolidate this into the 3 mandatory rules you need to pass any exam question on this topic. Rule 1. The power to admit new states belongs entirely and exclusively to Parliament.
Rule 2. Parliament gets to set the terms and conditions for that new state's entry without outside interference. Rule 3. Article 2 is strictly for admitting external territories, while Article 3 is for altering the internal lines of existing states. Master these 3 rules, and you have a clear lens for evaluating how India manages its internal stability while remaining legally open to future expansion.